and I am the education and distance learning, the education reference librarian and the distance learning project manager here at Mississippi State. And I have the distinct pleasure of introducing you all to Kim Gunter, and she's going to talk about Jog the Web. And Kim has been a certified teacher and librarian since 1991, during which she had worked with every grade in both private and public schools. She's got a nice background going. She has been a librarian for 8 years, 3 of which have been with Florence High School, located in Rankin County School District. Kim has received certifications from the states of Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. Good job. And she is also currently working on her master's in curriculum instruction with an emphasis on educational technology. And she's got a couple of things planned for us, and I'll be taking pictures of you all if you don't mind. It's part of an interactive part of this, so hopefully it'll work. Yes, keep our fingers crossed that this is all going to work. And here's Kim. We're going to learn how to jog this web.
Just a quick kind of overview. Most of y'all are college librarians?
High school.
Yes! 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 Sorry. Okay. Well, I'm a high school librarian. Now, you may think that you teaching freshmen how to do stuff is difficult. Trust me, until you have taught 9th grade, you know nothing. Because they have hormones going like crazy. Okay. And if you lose them for 5 seconds, guess what?
It's over.
They're gone. Because, oh my goodness, did you know? He is so cute. Oh, he's so cute. And then the boys are going, he moved. Oh my goodness, it's driving me crazy. So you gotta keep them entertained. You gotta keep things moving. Well, when I walked into my library, I had been out of the library field for 10 years. When I left, we were learning how to do email. Okay. So the login button is here, is where we were. So I come back 10 years later, and y'all know what it's done. So I was real scared to come back into the library. I was like, oh, this is scary. And so I walk in, and I'm all ready. I've got my abridged reader's guide, and I'm just ready to teach these kids how to research. And it's so awesome. And they walk in and go straight to the computers and never talk to me. Yeah. Great. Just living. I was so mad. I walked home. I walked in the door. They didn't use a book. Can you believe that? They didn't use a book. Nobody used a book. And it just made me mad. Now this went on for about 2 years. And I'm still struggling with this idea of the old library and transitioning into what the kids are needing. So I keep hearing something about this Web 2.0. Now I'll be honest with you. I don't know what it is. I don't have a clue what they're talking about. But I am smart enough to keep my mouth shut and not say, excuse me, could somebody please explain this to me? So, our school does a wonderful job of having a differentiated instruction conference every year. And I happened to go to it. Now, I signed up late, and I just had to take what was left. You talk about a blessing in disguise. If you ever have a chance to go to a site development for educators workshop, they have some wonderful speakers there on differentiated instruction and really changed how I viewed the library. And I had a chance to go see a speaker called Lori Elliott. She's Dr. Lori Elliott. And she did a workshop called Teaching the Digital Native, which is based off of Mark Prinsky's book, Teaching the Digital Native. And so I walk in there, and it's a 45-minute lesson, and she starts talking. Now, I'll be honest, I have had a horrible week this week, the week that I was going into there. I wasn't ready to listen to anything she had to say. I had an attitude like you would not believe. And I'm talking a bad attitude, and I'm just like a frog sitting over there. You're not gonna teach me anything. And then she started talking. And I started getting excited. And I started seeing, I got a little glimpse of what we're to. And I got really inspired. But I didn't really understand what I was doing. And I liken walking out of there after 45 minutes of, it's just like the cartoon where Tom and Jerry are fighting, and Jerry, or Tom, whichever one, takes the bell and puts it on top of the little mouse and rings it, and then he walks off like this. That's the way I felt. I didn't learn anything else the rest of the day. I don't care how wonderful the speakers were. I was up to here. I had a migraine headache. It took me about a week to decompress from it. And then I started trying to use some of these things. So one of the things that she showed us was Jog the Web. And I'll be honest with you, this was not my first choice to really start using. But we're going to talk about some of the elements of a jog. And I'm very big on training wheels, because that's just what I have to do with my kids. I'm going to show you how to use it. And rather than doing PowerPoint, I did a jog for you. So we can find this, and you can go to it, and you can look at these links, and you can play with some of this stuff and everything. So the first thing we want to talk about is the fact that you'll notice that I'm using Mozilla Firefox. There is a reason. That did not just happen. Mozilla is your friend. We like Mozilla. He is a good student. No, you know what? They have lots of little things that you can do with Mozilla that you just can't do with some other stuff. Let's see if this will work. So this is an actual jog that I have made. You'll notice there's some stuff up on the top. You've got this button here is going to take you back to where you actually create your jog. So it's real easy to get back and forth with. You'll notice I have arrows. And this is going to help us navigate through this. But if I don't want to navigate that way, I can always just scroll up and down. Okay, so you've got multiple ways to come through this. If I find something that I like, I can always share it right through here. And if I don't want help, that's fine. I don't need it. So we're going to click to our next screen. Now let's face it, if you've got ninth graders that are having to type http://www.rcsd.ms every single time, and that's a short one, what have they done? They're gone. By the time you get to www. Billy's already got a date, and you're praying the rest of them don't have dates. So I designed this particular page myself. Some of this content I did myself. Some of it is just marked. I just kind of wanted to put some basic definitions up there. Last year in February, they had the Mega Resources Conference here, and I came to that. And for the first time, I really got what Web 2.0 was. And Amanda Powers was standing up there, and she was explaining it to me, and I was like, I do that. And she'd say something else, and I'd kind of look around, I do that. You know, and I was just really excited by it. So Web 2.0 is a site that is practical and powerful while creating a social interaction. And we won't talk about the rest of it because y'all probably know more than I do about that. But I didn't even know I was doing it or what I was doing, but that's what was going on. So the reason why I was so excited about Jog, how many of y'all have wonderful new machines in your computer lab? Oh, I don't like you. Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, I did not. And I would do the computer prayer. You know, as you walk in, you unlock the library door, and you just start walking over to it. I've got a class today. I've got a class today. Oh, please, dear God, work. Please, dear God, work. Please work. And you press the button, and you're just quivering, and you finally touch it, and it comes on, and you're like, okay, good. Oh, thank goodness it's going to work. Well, we had all different kinds of systems, all different kinds of operating systems, word systems. I didn't have two machines that had the same RAM or hard drive. So I had to have something that would work with everything that I had. And so Jog the Web was something that I could use. And it would work on all of them. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start start talking about basically what you do. All right. Again, I'm very much, I think that you learn best by doing. And so when I created this job, I actually linked it to someone else's job who has already done my work for me, which is they have a learn how to use Jog the Web tutorial. And you can go through, ooh, that was not what I meant to do. It's okay, we'll just go back. And we can scroll through and it's going to show you how to create an account, and it's going to literally walk you through. Has anybody ever created an email account? Yeah. So you'd be comfortable creating this. It's the exact same thing. It's a username, a password, that's it. Okay. Now, the next step to actually creating a job is, well, you know, it's something you do all the time, so you're probably not going to have a hard time doing this. Anybody copy and paste? Yeah, that's pretty much all you have to know to do a basic job. And this is going to show you how to do this. This has got some extra things on it, like how to add an existing job. You know what, if that's not something that you want to do just yet, that's fine. You don't have to do that. You can leave a comment. Your kids, as you're teaching this, could actually leave you a comment. And you may not want that, but at least I don't necessarily want that. But anyway, you can, and then we can create our own job. What I use this for is mainly, this is my actual job for my high school that I've done. A lot of the things that we're going to be talking about, you're going to actually see that I use with my kids. And I kind of have a little bit of everything in here, you'll see. And if I pull up my job by itself, it would be larger screen than just this little square that operates in there. But you'll notice that the outside ring is going to stay the same most of the time. And this is where Mozilla actually does come into play again, because there are some websites that don't work perfectly with this, and they won't stay in that little screen, and they go big, and then you've got to come back to it. But it works really well, and we're going to do that real quickly. I wanted to show some sites that when Miss Elliott was teaching, or Dr. Elliott was teaching, that she showed us, and the first one I wanted to show you was the one that I actually fell in love with, and it's Inamoto, and it's going to be one that's going to go out of the page, and then we can get back. But that's the whole point to this job, is to show you how easy it is to use. I told you to leave the page. There we go. This is Inamoto. Now, I like this particular thing because I believe the picture shows 1,000 words. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try eventually to download some pictures, and we're going to actually make a video of them. Because what Inamoto does is you import pictures and you add pre-selected music. They have certain music that you can choose, and it has slides, and it does everything for you. Click, click, done, which I like. And so hopefully we'll be able to get that going in just a little bit. When or if you decide you want to sign up for this, don't do the regular sign-in for this. Make sure you choose somewhere on the bottom it says education, because the way that they price this is really expensive. Well, it was for me because I have no budget. Not literally, but it just feels that way. If you choose education, it may take about 2 weeks to get a login, but it's worth it because it's a 6 months free access to the expensive plan, and then you get to renew unlimited. So there's no reason for you not to renew it. And I showed this to my one of my teachers, and they just fell in love with it. So we're going to try and see. Let me show you this real quick while we're doing this. Okay, so I left my job. Oh my goodness. goodness, I can't get back. Well, I have it bookmarked on my toolbar so that if I want to go to this, all I have to do is click. And isn't that much easier than telling your kids, okay, let's go back to our homepage. Just click the second button. You know, that they can do that. So we're back to our job at this point. And again, I marked some other things that you might be interested in. Tagxedo, you will recognize Tagxedo from the front of your cover. The little thing, the word map, the word thing that's on the bottom, that probably was done with Tagxedo. Tagxedo it creates word maps, and you can import your own picture, you put your words in, and it just kind of, you can really custom design these. These are savable, downloadable, printable, and you can hyperlink them as well. They can be hyperlinked into a PowerPoint, they can be hyperlinked into a Prezi. You've got a lot of flexibility with this. This is one of the few ones, and by the way, you don't have to pay for this. I like free. Free works for me. And pretty much everything I'm going to show you is free, which works really well. All right, my next one I was going to show you, and we're going to try to get this stuff downloaded, and I may not do that, but we can go to Prezi. Have any of y'all ever seen Prezi? Have you ever worked with it?
Yes, I taught my kids last year to do Prezis, and they did Prezis on all kinds of history things.
Right. Well, I
in
did
high school last year, and they loved it.
And it's not hard. I mean, it really isn't. And that's what I was going to say. Learn to use Google, because for every problem that you have, there's somebody else out there who had the exact same problem, and they probably already solved it for you. Google is your best friend, and you need to learn how to use it. Because, like I said, every time I have a problem, that's where I end up going. Let's just go Google it, because somebody has fixed it for me. And YouTube is wonderful for videos that say, click here, which is what I need. So I did a kind of a mock Prezi for us, but we won't go through that. You know, I teach a lot of reference, and what I want to show the kids is how to log in, how to get to X point. You know, this is how you get started on reference work. And so I use Magnolia a lot, and Magnolia is the one that really kind of made me put it in the toolbar so we could go back, because again, it's going to go really large. And there's Magnolia. And we can go all over it. It works just the same. But again, we want to go right back, so just click it. And all I have to do is scroll down now. And you can see how many steps I've saved, because the kids get this navigation instantly. I don't have to explain this navigation. And that's the whole thing that we're trying not to do. All right, I have some other stuff on here. You've probably already seen these. How stuff works. This is a really neat site.
So Jog the Web is essentially like a bunch of bookmarks.
It is a bookmark. It is a social bookmarking site. I can share it with anyone. I have it linked to my web page so that the kids can go and look at it. They can pull up these sites, and they don't have to remember. You don't have to write all these URLs down, because I've already created you a jog, and all you have to do is Google, or you can go to the jog and actually search for the jog, and we're going to do that kind of toward the end. How stuff works is literally how stuff works. And so if you needed something like how a cell phone works, you would type in cell phones, and it will come up and it will show you that. I'm sure y'all know about Google Books, where you can look for free books. None of my people know about, they didn't know about any of this stuff before last year, so this is all new to them. They think I'm really doing something fancy. I didn't tell them that I'm not, but we won't go there. All right, so there's Google Books. Have any of y'all seen Google Square? Okay, sorry, I fell in love with this one too. Okay, I have a chemistry teacher that, please come up. Okay, we'll go there directly. I have a chemistry teacher who tells his students, you have to do a board with everything about the chemical elements on this board. And my poor little babies, you know, bless their hearts. You know, they come in and they're, where do I look? The periodactyl table? Oh, gracious. Okay, we'll get there. So the first year he required this, I didn't really know that much about it either. So I went and I found a website that had all this information, and I went ahead and printed it out for them and put it in a binder for them that they could check out so that they could find out all this information. Well, let's see. All right, this is Google Square. Now, I'm going to type in, and it says it's building a square.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
you got to be kidding. So you'll notice that it has the name, the image, a description, the atomic mass, the atomic number. It just goes on and on and on. What you don't necessarily notice right at first is everything in this chart is a hyperlink. This can be printed out, the hyperlinks won't work. But you think about how powerful this is for that chemistry teacher. Rather than saying, I want you to do a board for this, saying, I've already linked this, here's where you can find this information. And if it has multiple citations for that, it's going to show that. Let's see. And we can go all the way across. And if I don't want something, let's say I don't want the atomic number, it's really painful. It's very difficult. I clicked the X, there it went, it's gone. I don't need it anymore. All right, so let's see if we can do. And if I want to add something, I just come over here and then I can go ahead and I can add it and it'll go find it for me. This is a beta test site. It doesn't have everything. It has really strange stuff, like Disney characters and types of Christmas trees and just, but it's a lot of fun to play with.
The history stuff on here is phenomenal though.
Yeah. So, but this is something that I would show the kids just to, actually, I'll be honest with you, the group that did the chemical elements chart was my son's, the senior class this year. My son's in there, and I know them all really, really well. And I knew how mad they were about that. So I showed them this just to irritate them and show them that we had stuff that they didn't know that we had. And I had more fun showing them this than anything else that I showed them because that made them just live it. And they're like, that is not funny. You know, I worked for hours on that. That is just not funny. And I just thought it was a hoot. So, all right, we're going to go back to our jog. Again, by this point, we've gone back to the jog a couple of times. They're starting to get used to this, so we're back there. And we'll go to our next one. You're probably familiar with OWL. Instapaper. Okay. Instapaper, let's see what it is. There we go. The way this works is you have an Instapaper account, and it's going to install on your Mozilla toolbar, and it's just going to have a little icon up there. So whenever you see something that you want to read later, you click the button that says Read Later, and then you can go log into your Instapaper account, and that particular website's there. Just kind of a cute little thing. But it happens enough to where, you know, it's kind of neat. Evernote, y'all use, I'm sure y'all use Evernote. Evernote remembers everything, so you can, it's a log in again, free. You can take notes on it, but instead of having to do file save as, all this other stuff, you just walk away, it's saved. And you come back to it, you log in, and it's there. Zotero, yes, we know about this, no, we don't know about this. Don't input, okay, Zotero. Okay, I went back to school beginning of last year, and I saw Zotero. And I kind of had a little bit of difficulty getting it to work with a Mac at that point. I've gotten it to where it'll, you know, I've kind of figured out some of the little things that it does. What this will do is it will do citations for you, and it'll do your bibliography, but it actually will go out and grab the citation information for you from like Amazon, EBSCOhost, and by the way, this will work with Magnolia. You have to log in kind of a little bit differently for us, but probably the same way y'all show them to log in. But it will work. And then, like, as you add your citations, it builds the bibliography for you. And like, let's say that I'm doing it in APA style, and for whatever reason I want to change that and I want to do it MLA style. It's a click of a button. That's all that it is, and it's clicks. It's not exactly perfect. The APA style is a little bit off, so you do have to kind of check it. But just the fact that all I have to do is go and click a button to get all the information in, and I can develop multiple folders and can tell it exactly where to go when I'm saving it. I want it to go to this folder here, and that just makes it so nice. And the only thing that I have to worry about is where that quote came from, what page number it was on. I enter the page number, and it pulls it up. It's really kind of a nice thing. Go Animate. A lot of these are things that you can use to teach kids to do differentiation with. This is going to make animated videos for you. If you want to download these as an actual file, you probably will have to pay for it, but you can get the URL link and hyperlink it free of charge, which is what we always look for. Live binders. This is it's a binder that it acts just like a regular binder, and you can put all your stuff in there, but it's a login, and again, completely free. So the kids can create their own binders, and what a neat concept. We're actually going to be using this quite a bit this year. I kind of have to pick the teachers I work with. Y'all probably don't have this issue, but I have some teachers that just aren't that excited about technology. And then I have the other teachers that are not that excited about the librarian. As a matter of fact, my library was just about to die. I don't know about, I mean, I'm telling you, it was like, the legs weren't up yet, but they were out to the side. And I actually had one teacher come up to me and just look at me and say, "Your salary is a waste of money." I need that room. You know, and I love him to death, so I didn't take it the wrong way. That's why he said it in the first place. But still, I'll never use the library. You'll never make me use the library. You can't make me use the library. And I was so happy this year we've actually made some serious inroads, because he walked up day one and said, "I'd like to schedule for April, please." And what a great thing. I talk about a pat on the back. It was just great. But anyway, we have a new class that we're starting this year. We have really excited about it. We're one of only 3 high schools that are doing this. It's a pilot program, and it's a health science class, and she wants them to design portfolios. And so I was able to work with her, and we were talking about doing this, and we'll see how it goes. You know, sometimes it works better than others. All right. And I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but the beauty of this is you don't have to remember a single single URL. Well, no, pretty much, because you can Google everything. So, this is another one that I found. Well, long story on that one. This is called Storybird. It's kind of designed more for kids to work, but I will tell you, this was actually one of the harder ones to learn how to use. Again, you log in. There is an iPod app for this. And the idea is that you create your own story. So you pick out the pictures and then you create the story. And then you can publish it to the web. And there's my story. And my cover. But how neat would that be to have kids that could do that and could design their own storybooks and stuff. And think about also the applications as far as the college library. You know, if you're doing a factual picture book, and don't think that that's not there too, because they are. You know, your basic information, you're still doing research. It's just how it's getting put back out. Glogster is an interactive bulletin board that you can do. The idea is that the kids design it themselves. You just kind of let them loose on it. And so we're not going to all of these to do, but I mean, it's really nice. It's got a lot of features. And I will also say that one embeds really easily as far as YouTube videos. I was really surprised by that. I kind of have issues when I go to embed stuff, and it doesn't always work for me. That one was very, very easy. Some of the other stuff wasn't quite as easy, but that one was. When I was doing these, and I grouped them, I kind of organized them by how hard they were to use, with the easiest being on top, so that you could kind of pick and choose. And if you just wanted to go in and kind of play around a little bit, you could just pick some of the ones up at the top. And then if you felt like you wanted to be more adventurous, you could go back in later and do that. I also included some other links just because. I included a Firefox download just to kind of gently nudge you into downloading Firefox. The Dr. Lori Elliott that I was talking about, I included her blog as well, because she does do a lot of up-to-date new applications and things that are just constantly coming out. When I came up here for Mega Resources, one of the things that they told us about was a blog that's done by Bucky Hamilton, the Unquiet Librarian is what it's called. Now, I'm going to caution you, y'all probably. Okay, here's what I experienced with it. I went to her blog for the first time, and I read it on Monday. And I entered a state of depression that took me about 3 weeks to get out of, because she did more on Monday than I had done in 3 years. And so I called her, and this is absolutely no joke. I emailed her, I didn't call. I emailed her, I'm like, how did I get to that point? And she's like, it's okay. It's okay. It'll be okay. She's still telling me that today. But, so just kind of, when you go in there and look at it, I actually was able to talk to her for a little bit. And one of the things she told me was she did not start off this way. She didn't start off having this just group of projects that she always worked on. What she did was every year she chose 2. And she really developed those well, and then was able to go out and do 2 more the next year and keep those 2 and just keep adding to it. So this, you know, when you see what she's doing, she's years ahead of me. So of course she's going to have more projects that she can do. You know, I don't have as much because I've just started. So I did mark hers. Mississippi Library Association, they're going to have their conference in October. Hint, hint, hint. Two tech chicks. I just found this. It's actually a podcast, and I walked out of Dr. Elliott's class and wanted to know more information about some of the stuff that's coming out. And they do a podcast that comes out pretty regularly with different technology and stuff. And I kind of have to listen to it 2 or 3 times to get what they're saying. But I like to kind of do it in that format. A little bit of self-promotion. That's my blog that I'm trying. 2 steps to the left of normal, and I assure you I am 2 steps to the left of normal as far as a librarian. My entire school refers to the library as an insane asylum, and it's pretty appropriate because nothing's normal there. My poor principal, bless his heart, I don't think he knew what he was getting when he got me, and he just walks through and he's just doing this the whole time. You know, he just doesn't even ask anymore. So, and the whole idea of this is just to kind of keep track of what I'm trying to do. I tried to answer some questions that you might have with Web 2.0 and RSS, you know, what is an RSS? These are all things that I didn't know. And so I tried to put links on there that you could go to, you know, at home if you wanted to look it up or however. We're going to go look at an actual jog. And this is the page that you would see when you just go to the basic website. And when you log in, see that whole time I was not logged into my account. And there are my jogs that I've done. So like if you wanted to look at my, I did one for the libraries. Here's my sites for FHS. We could go jog it. I would show you the library page that I have, but according to someone we listened to today, there's some things that I need to redo. So that'll be next. So anyway, that's that. And again, to get back to it, all I have to do is click that top button, and it's going to take me right back to it. I can go look at my jobs again now. And there's the one that we're working on. And if I don't like something, I can just click Edit Job. And all I have to do is just tell it to delete it. And if I want to move something around, like let's say I want to group those that go big all together so that I'm coming back to the same point every time, I can do that just by going up and down. So the interface for this, although it's really not that bad. And I put a lot more on here than I would for kids, for me. I put a lot more on here. I wouldn't have done that to my babies. They couldn't have handled that. So, and then you just click I'm done editing, and I can go to any computer now and I can pull this up, and any of the changes that I've made are going to be there. Which is really nice. So I thought we would play a little bit. Let's see if I can do it. Rather than doing that, this is Animoto. Again, it's a slideshow project, and one of the things I wanted to show you is how easy it is, because it literally takes about 10 minutes. I loaded at one point like 105 photos up, and it just loads them just like that and puts them in order, and then when you want to redo them in any order you can add text to it. I actually did this particular one at the beginning of a conference that we were, not a conference, but a professional development day that we were doing. And so I took pictures of our librarians, and then, during the time that we were actually listening to the presentations and all that, it saved for me, and it will generate a project. Let's see. And you can link that, you can embed that into your website as well. Actually, I'll show you what, I'll show you. My first one, there we go. This is my first one. I literally did this in 5 minutes. The pictures are all from Flickr, so they're common, so I could have used them. So this is one I did literally 5 minutes. And that's from login, by the way. I created the login and then did this. So, you know, and that's something that's really powerful for the kids, because again, you can send them out with a camera and say, you know, for example, go take pictures of the areas on campus that you think are important. You know, tell a story about our school. You know, explain what do you think is relevant right now. And then they can come back and you can upload those pictures very, very quickly. And I mean, and the instructions are, let's just say I didn't have any trouble with it. And that's saying something. So, because I'm one of those people that goes, now, you said and. Did you mean or did you mean and? Because there's a difference there. You know. But anyway, that's a lot of fun.
Can you add text?
I'm sorry?
Can you add text?
Yes, but I will say this, and I'm hoping they're going to change this. When you add text, it's a standalone screen. And it doesn't have to be serious, it can be silly. There should be text on this one. Yeah, and see, I added that.
So the text doesn't come over the pictures themselves.
Okay, do what now?
The text doesn't come over the pictures themselves, right? Okay, that's what you
No, and
mean by
that, to me, that's a
standalone. Okay.
drawback that it has. I don't know if they're gonna fix that or not, but something that I saw somebody do, and I haven't played with it enough to say, yes, it's easy, no, it's not. But what they did was they actually typed up a Word document and saved it, and then they took a picture of it as a screenshot, and then uploaded it to Animoto.
That's a cheat code.
Yeah, and so that was
I do
kind
that
of,
a lot.
yeah, it's pretty neat, but I haven't played with that, so I can't speak on that. But, so y'all have any questions? Or anything you wanna know about, or have I overwhelmed? I go fast, I know that, cause I go fast.
And Kim has a handout that we're going to be putting up as a PDF. It'll be up on the website, so that you can get to all of these links.
And if you wanna get back to this job, all you have to do is Google Job the Web, and then look for MSU Emerging Technologies, and it'll go ahead and pop up. So you don't have to remember websites and stuff.
For the Animoto, was the music that was with that, is that in?
It's in the program. You get to
So-
choose it.
So
Yeah.
they already have it, so you're not gonna be worried about copyright or anything else with that?
You can upload your own as well, but you don't have to. You can use theirs. See if we can get this to work. I'm going about this the wrong way. You have to understand that this is, once I've done something a particular way, I remember how to do it, but that may not be the easiest way.
Once I learned it, the way I
And
did it.
that's all you're getting, you know? And I normally keep it bookmarked up there. I just took it off for ease this time. And let's see, we're gonna go edit this project. Now here are our pictures. This is where we're gonna upload. And all I do to add pictures is add. And we're gonna upload. And then we're gonna come over here to delete them. I guess not, there we go. That's not long. You know, it's really, and if I wanna move them around, I can once they're added. So if I wanna move this one, let's say, that's all I have to do. And if I wanna add text, all I have to do is come down here to add text. And let's say I want it right there. And so you only have about 2 lines, so you have to be careful with what you say. That's the drawback to it, I would say, but, and then music, you would just go and you could click change your soundtrack, which I'm not really gonna do that, but, and there are your choices, and there's just tons of them. And these are all, and they'll even have specials on, that sometimes where they'll say, this is on there for this month, and something else will be on there next month. And then you just go to finalize, and you tell it continue. I use some of the same music because I like it a lot. It's happy music. And it's gonna tell me, it's processing this right now, it's not done yet. But you can go do whatever you need to do. You don't have to stay on this page. We go back to our job now and do whatever we need to do. It's gonna send me an email later and explain it to you.
How long does it take?
It depends on your server, and you know, it really doesn't depend on us. It's about 30 minutes. That's a rough estimate. Sometimes it's less than that. With smaller pictures, it's going to be less. We have a real issue with the fact that we have a really large school district and we had a really small bandwidth. So that's been an ongoing struggle that we've had. So they're hoping to get that fixed. And if we wanted to create our own job, we'll walk through that too. Let's see. find a page that I like and I wanna add it to my job, I don't have to go in and copy and paste it anymore with Firefox extension. They just added this like really quickly. It was, like I didn't know about it 2 days ago and it's there now. So anyway, all you have to do is, there's a good website to go to. There. And I want to add that to my job, so I just click that, and it'll ask me where do I want to add it. Oh, that one's gonna be there. Submit. And it's gonna add it to my job already. So that's not too bad. Go back, it should be good.
That's
The
it,
beginning.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell it to do it to the bottom, and then you can organize it. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate your time. I hope that it was helpful to you and that, you enjoyed it. We tend to be a wild bunch where we come from, so I tend to move around quite a bit.
Is there any other questions, or any questions, I guess, rather? Well, thank you so much for all the preparation you did on this.
Yes.
Thank you. Excellent, we did drill and all this.